All right, what is going on, SandStorm Stream? Welcome back. Today we have a couple special guests. We are joined by the Bounty Games, Tempo and Jeremy. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
How
Not
you
much,
guys
man.
doing?
Thank you for having us on.
I would like to state before the show that Jeremy is in El Salvador. He might be struggling with some internet issues, and Tempo has been stricken down with COVID, so he's coughing. And if for whatever reason you hear me ask a question and it doesn't go through, we might have to re-ask it. We never know, but just be prepared for that.
The worst two
I
guys
feel
in
like
history.
I feel like I keep hearing a rooster in the background.
but you do. I'm in El Salvador, and that is our local rooster.
Yeah, I'm hearing a rooster. I'm like, dude, we're in it right now. So I guess first thing I like to do is usually ask the guests just a little intro, I guess, about you guys and about the project. So if you guys could tell me a little bit about yourselves and about the Bounty Games.
Yeah, for sure. You want me to take that one, Jer?
Yeah.
So I'm Tempo, and Jeremy and I we've been in the NFT space for a while now, since January, February-ish. The project we're best known for is Deadheads, which we started back in June, and we're basically creating an animated series where the characters are owned by the fans themselves as NFTs. We also have our other project, which actually predates Deadheads, but it's called Genai. And this project is where we get to explore our creative side a lot more and be a lot more innovative, and explore a lot of different concepts around what you can do with NFTs. And Bounty Games is our latest project through Genai, where it's a play-to-earn game. And you can think of it as like the blockchain version of Clue, essentially, where I'll give a very brief overview, and then I'm sure we'll dive a lot more into it. But it's essentially everybody mints their suspects, and when you own a suspect, you don't know if it's going to be a criminal or if they're going to be innocent. There's 10 criminals out of all suspects that are minted, and every criminal has a bounty on their head of up to $200,000 US. So it's a potential $1 million prize pool, because only 5 of these bounties will be paid out. The first 5, first come, first serve. And basically the whole concept of the game is that every single day a new clue is going to be released about one of the 10 suspects, or about one of the 10 wanted criminals. And so it'll narrow down the traits of which criminals are which suspects, and you can sort of start to figure out you can start to figure out which of the suspects actually are the ones with the bounties on their head. And if you are in possession of a criminal and you figure out that you do have one, you turn them in on our website. And if you're correct, you win the bounty. If you are incorrect, your criminal's killed. Or sorry, your suspect is killed, I should say. So it's a long game. It'll probably last about 20 days is what we're shooting for. As we all know, with the attention span of the NFT space, that's probably about as long as you want the game to last. But I think it'll be very interesting, because the secondary market is going to explode every time a new clue is released, right? So say on day 1 it's revealed that criminal number 5 uses the weapon of poison, right? So everyone's
gonna go buy that.
Exactly. Every single criminal or every single suspect with that trait is now suddenly worth drastically more money. And so the secondary market will boom for that. The floor for that specific trait will rise. And we'll keep seeing that every single day, as to the point where it gets narrowed down to suddenly criminal 5 with a $200,000 bounty on their head. It's a 1 in 3 chance, because there's only 3 suspects that match all the traits that have been revealed so far. And so those should be theoretically, have an expected value of 200K divided by 3, right? So it's like it'll be very interesting to watch what happens on secondary during the game. But that's just a very high level overview.
Yeah. I mean, those are the two things you said that I was thinking of when I first read through like what you guys are doing. Immediately thought of Clue. And I was also thinking like, yeah, once they start releasing these clues on like who is the criminal, like those traits are going to significantly like go up in value. People are going to want to buy them and they're not going to want to list them. And I think it's a really interesting idea. I mean, I don't think I've seen like an NFT game that's kind of played out like this. So it'll be cool to see how everything plays out. I guess what was your guys' inspiration for this? Because you said you did Deadheads, and then you also have another project, Feudals, right? Uh,
No,
why no?
just to correct you on that point is the premise of Janai, and I don't know if Tempo explained this exactly, is that it's like to platform artists and creators.
Yeah.
So Janai is platforming the creators of Feudals, basically that dev team,
Okay.
and then while bringing in like the gaming aspect. So Janai is kind of like Tempo specifically is coming up with all these ideas, working with some of the best devs in the business, and basically platforming them to do like a Mr. Beast type project where it's
Yeah.
like, here's this like a massive prize pool. Thanks to the devs who came up with this really interesting game and Tempo, who's kind of working with them and platforming them through Janai. So I guess it's a little different than what we've done in the past. Like Deadheads is like a full blown project done by us.
Yeah.
Whereas Janai is more of like a membership.
Okay.
Like it just hosts and platforms these other creators to a degree. And Tempo is like the guy driving bounty games with these devs. Yeah.
Okay. And so would you say like that, I guess, would be like you said, like a Mr. Beast style video? I mean, like his Squid Games video is like absolutely massive. Would you say that was kind of like the inspiration behind creating a project like this?
I'll let Tempo speak to that.
Yeah, we've actually been toying with this concept for the last couple months here. I think it's probably been 2 months since we first sort of dreamt it up, but we've been speaking with those feudal guys for a while on how exactly going to make it happen. And yeah, Mr. Beast was for sure and part of the inspiration for it. But the other projects that sort of helped us dial in the exact mechanics of it were Wolf Game. When that came out, there's a lot of stuff that we sort of learned about the P2E space. Like, for example, the fact that it's a lot more successful if it's quite hands off for the people buying the NFTs. Nobody wants, at least the majority of people in NFTs don't want to play like a game like Axie Infinity, where they have to be at a computer playing it all the time. They would rather just have a much simpler game where they just stake their sheep and wolf and earn rewards or steal sheep or whatever. And then we learned a lot from Chain Face Arena as well, where we basically we loved what they did with Chain Face Arena. And for those that aren't familiar with the project, basically you would stake your NFT, and every single block there would be a chance that your NFT would die, and it's basically essentially last one standing, or like the further you go, the more money you make. So we kind of took the same concept of people dying and making the NFTs worth a little bit more money, but also the one thing we noticed with Chain Face Arena is that the secondary market was incredibly stagnant, because once you stake your NFT, you can't trade it, and once you pull your NFT out, anyone who buys on secondary can't enter the game. So we wanted to not we wanted to stay away from sort of gating it on secondary market, because we know that's a huge part of the NFT world is people that discover it after launch. And so we wanted to make that as powerful as possible for people entering the game later on. They can just buy an NFT and they have just as good of a chance as everybody else, if not better, if some clues have already been released, right? So those were sort of like the three main inspirations, I would say.
Okay. And then a last little, like, I guess, background of the project is who did, I guess, the artwork. We see them up in the Sandstorm Social Hub here. You have different characters with different weapons. Is there anyone specific that did the artwork for this?
Yes, it is. It's actually Hot Cafe guys. So the creator of Feudals, it's the same artist as the one who did the Feudals art. So it's a really, really talented pixel artist named Malky. And yeah, so it's the same artist there.
Okay. All right. So, moving on to other things. I saw a question in chat. Someone was asking, is this minting on ETH? That's why I wanted to ask you guys, what is your guys' mint day?
Mint day is tomorrow, January 27th. And it's at 11 a.m. PST. And
it is on Ethereum, right?
And it's on mainnet.
Okay.
One of the things we were, it's always a question of whether to go to some kind of a layer 2 solution for these P2E games, but it's drastically less popular and successful if you do so, just because of all the hurdles to get to that stage as a collector and player of the game. So yeah, we're sticking on ETH mainnet.
Okay. And I did see on your website that, there's a question of how long you guys are going to mint. Obviously, well, actually, I don't. What is the total supply? I guess I should ask first. Have you guys decided on that?
We were planning on doing no max supply and base it off a time window for minting instead.
Yeah.
To try to get as big of a possible prize pool. But depending on the popularity, we might set a max cap at like similar to Chainface Arena, like 20, 25K, something like that.
Okay.
But
so
the more NFTs, the bigger the prize pool, the more fun everybody has. So it's kind of a balance that we're trying to strike there.
Yeah. It's interesting. These set like a specific amount of time, and do you have any idea of like how long you would set the mint for?
Yeah, it'll likely be about 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't want it to be like you have to FOMO in because it's only open for 1 hour or whatever, but we want it to be short enough where that secondary market is going to be quite strong because people are discovering it after launch.
Okay. And so depending on how many of them that you guys sell and mint, that's going to affect the prize pool and like how much each bounty, or is like the bounty set at $1 million? Okay. So it will affect it. All right.
Yeah. I mean, if we only sell 10, we don't have $1 million to put up, unfortunately.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's understandable. I'm sure you guys are excited, but stressed. I've never minted out a project, but everyone that we talk to out here that's like talks about their mint night, they're like, yeah, it was nerve wracking for sure.
Yeah. When we sold out Deadheads initially, it was incredibly like nerve wracking and exciting. But the beautiful thing about not having a max supply is there is no real mint out. It's just like however many they sell, and it's up to us to make sure that there's enough demand to drive secondary and make sure all of our collectors are rewarded.
And what is Mr. Winning wants to know, what is the mint price per bounty?
It's 0.059, and if you're on the whitelist, it's 0.049.
Okay. And how many is there a certain amount that's like set aside for people that are whitelisted versus people that aren't?
No, everyone will be minting at the same time. The devs have a off-chain mechanism for the whitelist, so it'll be very simple. It'll be really simple for people who are on the whitelist to be able to do the whitelist mint and vice versa. So there's not like a setting aside times for each one. It'll just be everybody doing it at the same time.
Okay. All right. Well, there you guys heard it. Mint is tomorrow, 0.059. And it's a timed mint, so you don't have to go out and do gas wars if you're trying to mint it. You could wait a day. And yeah, like I said, it's a really, really, really interesting game. I mean, I've minted a lot of NFTs, bought into a lot of NFTs, and like you said with Wolf Game, I've played a lot of games like that, and this is something that I've never been a part of and seen people do something like this. So I was really curious about, the actual game mechanics. So what happens after the game finishes? Say, it runs, like you said, for like 20 days, what is going to happen after the game is over?
So we're building this out as a more long-term project. It's called the Bounty Games, not the Bounty Game. So the Hawk Cafe Feudals devs and us are planning on building out multiple different games, which you'll be able to play for free with your NFT as long as they're not killed. So there's two ways that your NFT can be killed, or that your suspect can be killed. The first way is if you turn in an innocent suspect, then they're killed from the games forever. And the other way, which is kind of an interesting mechanism, which will be interesting to see how it plays out exactly, but every single day, each of the criminals will kill one of the suspects. And so it's deflationary in that nature, but your suspect can only be killed if it's listed for sale.
Yeah.
So there's not a staking mechanism there, but if your suspect is listed, it has a chance of being killed, with the ones listed closer to the floor having a higher chance of being killed. And those are the only two ways. So if you don't list and you don't turn in an innocent suspect, then your contestant will survive for the next games.
Yeah. And so the ones that are listed at the floor and they get killed, what does the team buy that one and then burn it? Like how does that work?
The team just burns it. We have a owner only function on the contract where we can burn. So we'll be the ones paying gas, but it'll just cease to exist.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of questions I have. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, whoever's listening at the floor, they're taking the risk of someone either buying it and they're getting out, or they're getting burnt. Which, I like that, because a lot of projects you see, especially now, like I think the space is like 90% people just trying to flip. Like not a lot of people are looking long term. And so, they see Gary V buy something and then they just jump into the project, and then within an hour, like they're sweating bullets, undercutting, and they just keep dropping the price. And I think, a mechanism like that could definitely stop people from undercutting, because they just get it burnt and they're just holding that. So I like that.
Yeah. And I'm generally against like gamifying a higher floor. But in this specific case, I think it makes a lot of sense with the story and sort of with how we want the game to play out. So it'll be interesting. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but all I know is if you're listing close to floor, you better have some big balls, because that is some scary shit.
And so you said it would be one. You're thinking one per day, right?
10. So one for each
10
of the
per
criminals.
day. Okay.
Yeah.
And so with that much like deflation going on, you have people guessing if it's theirs, that one gets killed. You're talking about doing 10 a day. Like, do you worry about there not being enough NFTs at some point?
No, 10's actually pretty tiny in the grand scheme of things if you're imagining the game goes on for 20 days. And whenever a criminal is found and turned in, then they can't kill anymore, right? So it'll be the amount that are killed will decrease as more criminals are turned in. But it's basically a maximum limit of 20 days times 10 each day, right? So it'll be maximum 200 that will be killed. So yeah, I see it being supplementary, but not like a end all type situation.
Yeah. I guess yeah, when you think about like that, like 200, and then I guess it just depends how many people guess and they're guessing wrong and their NFT gets burnt. Because so these NFTs will carry on over into the next bounty games. And like, say if you do like bounty game season 2, will there be another mint where other people can mint in and rejoin the game, or no?
Depends how many we have, I would say. The jury's still out on that one. It also depends on how exactly these ones go. But one of the other inspirations for this game was literally the Squid Game. So like having this sort of multiple games where the contestants are slowly whittled down, and then they obviously become a lot more valuable as a survivor of the first ever bounty games is like quite powerful. But in terms of games in the future, it sort of depends on things like secondary volumes. Like we obviously want as big of a prize pool as possible for the next games as well. So it depends on a lot of factors.
All right. Yeah, because I was like just wondering, I mean, by the time maybe not after the first game, a lot of them be burned, but once you start doing like 5, 6, like you just never know. Like but you do have that option to where you could mint more NFTs and add more people to the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no limit set on the smart contract itself, so that's possible.
Okay, and so you can only I guess like for your own NFT. So you can't, if you think you have it figured out and like it's not your NFT that you have, you can't like call someone else out and claim the bounty.
No, you can only turn in a suspect that you own. So I think it'll be I think it'll be really interesting when people have it figured out who it is, and that person hasn't turned them in yet. Like I think we'll see some crazy bids
Yeah.
for like I mean obviously because it'll be worth $200,000. So
Yeah. The bids
there'll be
could run
some
up.
pretty insane bids. Yeah.
But then it's scary because like the guy that doesn't have it figured out just wakes up to like $100,000 bid on his NFT. He's like, hold on, like what's going
Yeah.
on here?
Exactly.
Someone might have something
Exactly.
figured out.
Yeah. Exactly. And the other important mechanism to touch on here, just so people understand why you can't just hold your suspects and never risk turning them in, even if it seems quite likely that they are a criminal.
Mhm.
There's 10 criminals, but only 5 bounties get paid out. So I think I mentioned this at the start, but there's a bit of a time limit on you, like to turn in your potential criminal. So you might want to risk turning them in if there's it's a 1 in 3 chance, and there's
Mhm.
been 3 bounties claimed already. Because if someone else claims those last 2 bounties, then suddenly your criminal's 0, even though
Yeah.
it might be the criminal. So
Yeah.
it'll play this sort of it'll tiptoe this line of of um, gamification and sort of how risk averse you are,
Mhm.
because you basically have 3 choices. You either risk turning them in and potentially make $200,000, or have your criminal killed, or sorry, have your suspect killed if they are innocent, or you can accept a bid, which will most likely be a little bit lower than the expected value of your NFT, or you can wait for like another clue and hope that it narrows it down even more. But waiting comes with that inherent risk that all 5 bounties could be claimed. So it'll be it'll be interesting how big of a risk people start to take once a few of those bounties are claimed. Because if you wait and 5 bounties are claimed, all the other criminals are worth 0.
Do you have a limit to how many one person can turn in?
The limit on how many one person can turn in is the number of NFTs they own. So no, there's no like outside limit set on it. It's
Okay.
just how many you own. But to turn in your NFT, you have to pay gas. It's essentially like staking your NFT. It'll just transfer it into a jail wallet, we're calling it.
Yeah.
And so right from the get go, like if you just want to turn in everyone, you'll have to pay gas on all of them, and all your NFTs will be most likely killed, unless you're obviously incredibly lucky. But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't know. It depends just how many people mint, and obviously they buy them off the floor. If they you have a whale that just has crazy amounts of money, and he's like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna kind of play the lottery here, and I'm just gonna turn them all in. Like I'm not gonna wait for any clues. Like I'm gonna turn in 1,000 NFTs just to figure out if I hit the lottery here. Like, do you worry about that happening or no?
Um, there actually have been some people who have said that they're planning on doing something like that, but that was prior to them realizing that A, all the ones that are innocent are killed, and B, you have to pay gas on every single one of those
Yeah,
turn-ins. So if you're turning in 1,000 NFTs, like that's,
you could
I
take a
mean,
massive L.
yeah, I mean it's yeah, I mean I guess it's similar to just playing the lottery, because it's very unlikely that you'll have one, and it's you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to find out. So
Yeah. Yep. So anyone in chat that has any questions, feel free to ask. Someone did ask, where will the clues be released? Will you guys be just releasing them in your Discord?
it'll be on Twitter and Discord. So
Okay.
the Discord will just automatically pull from Twitter whenever a tweet's released, but it'll be sorry, it'll be first on Twitter.
Okay. So Twitter and Discord, make sure you guys are following them. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. If you plan on playing the game, that's where you're going to get your information. So obviously, like, I mean, you said multiple times that you guys do plan on doing multiple bounty games. Do you plan on, I guess, changing it up for season 2 bounty games? Like what is, like, do you even have that thought? Like, what does season 2 look like?
Sorry, just coughing up a storm over here.
I can take it.
Season 2, yeah, we're planning on mixing it up. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
There's no guarantee on season 2 yet. I don't think that's what I've heard from the developers and the creators. But if I'm like, it's definitely the plan is to have sort of an extension and bring the winners with you. So the people who remain, the NFTs that remain, and the ones that aren't killed off or wrongly claimed, can sort of be brought forward into that season 2 in the event that it was to occur, which I believe is the plan. Okay.
I mean, yeah, everyone's in chat's talking about how stressful this game would be. Like, I could just imagine, like, you're sitting here, you have 5 of these, and the floor price is like, you say it's like 1 Ethereum, and you're like, dude, am I going to risk burning essentially 1 Ethereum to figure out if I have it, and then it's not it, and you're like, I don't know, it could be haunting. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much touched on anything. Is there anything like about, the game or the mint coming up that you would like to just let people in chat know?
I saw some people were asking about whitelist spots. Should we raffle some whitelist spots off? I'd be more than happy to do that for the listeners.
I mean, if we can raffle off some whitelist spots, I think Slaterade might have to handle that one. It's okay. He's in chat. He's saying whitelist spots we could do some whitelist spots. How are we going to do that, Slade? He said, all right, well, we'll let him figure that out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It sounds stressful to me. It sounds like, how much is the minting price? We said 0.059 will be the minting price, and the mint is tomorrow. So make sure you guys do remember that. Like I said, anyone in chat that has questions, like I wrote down a whole bunch of questions, and we've pretty much gone through literally everything I could think to ask. A brief overview for anyone just joining in. It is going to be a Clue-like NFT game. Like I said, the mint is tomorrow. It is an unlimited amount that can be minted. It's a timed mint, so there could be a supply of 10,000. There could be a supply of 20,000. And essentially, you guys said a week after mint, that's when you're going to pick the criminals, right?
No, it'll be about a day after mint.
A day after.
So we'll
make
sure we get it going pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's, a day after the mint, they're going to, pick the criminals. And how do you guys have any, like, I guess, examples of like a clue? Like, I don't know how you guys are coming up with the clues if you already have them. Like, do you guys is it random who's going to be criminal, or do you guys already have in mind like which NFTs will be the criminal?
No, it'll be totally randomized after mint.
Okay.
Because obviously we don't know how many are going to be minted, and we also don't know which are going to be minted. So it'll be totally randomized after mint. We'll make sure there's like a proof of video that we're going to upload in summary on IPFS, so that it's very clear that there's no tampering or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be 1 day after mint. So nobody knows who the criminals are going to be until that day.
All right. So yeah, it's completely random. You could mint a criminal or you could not, and you use the clues to try to figure out. And it's to your advantage to figure out who the criminal is first, because you could go out and buy that, claim it. I mean, we're talking up to $1 million, potentially more, I guess, depending on how many mint. $1 million in prizes, $200,000 bounty. Absolutely insane. So, I mean, yeah, you guys should definitely check it out. I will for sure be checking out the mint and potentially minting a couple. It's so risky. I agree. It is risky, but we're degenerates. What do you mean? It's fun.
Yeah, and to answer your question about what the clues will look like, some of them will just be very, very obvious, sort of just trait reveals. Like, the weapon of choice is a saw. It'll obviously be the guy on the right. But occasionally, some of them will be a little bit more cryptic. Maybe something like, if I said his power level is over 9,000, like, some people would know which of the two it is up on that screen there. Some people
the
will.
green-haired guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's going to be like, yeah, I think it'll be fun to watch factions that sort of created within the community itself. People sort of talking about the clues, figuring it out together. Some people will probably, agree to split the reward with friends, and create this sort of group where they have a better chance of winning, but the reward will be smaller. Like there's all these different things that'll happen, and I couldn't be more excited to watch it, because I think it's gonna be a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's for sure. I think it will be. Do you guys plan on doing, I guess, any non-clue based games?
Yeah, there's a ton of ideas sort of percolating with the feudals guys and us about what a potential next game could look like. But it's not going to be the exact same as Clue. Most likely, it'll be different, but it'll sort of play to the same risk reward gamification type thing that we have going on here. And it'll also be very simple to understand, because I think that's something that's really important for these play to earn games, is they need to be simple for a newcomer to come in and understand exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, make sure you guys in stream claim your PO app. Also, I'm sure Slade got you guys hooked up with the whitelist giveaway. Let me ask him what we're going to be doing a whitelist giveaway, because I mean, it is a cheaper price. The mint is cheaper if you are on the whitelist, so it is to your advantage to be on that. I don't know. I guess, do you guys have anything else you guys would like to add? Any closing thoughts? Like, how long do you see bounty games running for? Like, do you see this being just kind of like a short term, maybe like couple months to a year project, or are you hoping this is like a 5-year, like a 5-year plan, 10-year, you never know, but more of like a long-term play?
Yeah, I mean, we're always open. I think the one thing that's been hammered into us the most in the MT space is to never sort of lock yourself into anything long term, because you just never know what's going to happen. So even like one year down the road, the space could look totally different. So what we really want to make sure is that we have something that people are enjoying and people are playing, and it's actually popular.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of where the play by ear sort of motto comes into the space, is like, if there's a big appetite for this game and it's crazy successful, hell yeah, we're gonna create another one. And it's like,
yeah,
but it's hard to commit to something when you don't know exactly how it's going to be received, right? So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with this one. I suspect this game is going to be a ton of fun, and I think it'll be quite popular, but how exactly it's going to play out, nobody really knows, right? So we'll see.
yeah. Okay, and Slade wanted to know how many whitelist spots are we giving away?
I have 10. I have 10 that I can give away.
Okay, we have 10 whitelist spots we can give away in chat. And also a lot of people in chat are asking about, Sandbox. Obviously, we are in the Sandbox right now. And asking if you have any plans of partnerships with Sandbox or Decentraland, anything like that.
With Deadheads, we have an underground crypt that we've built in Decentraland, but we have nothing on Sandbox so far.
Okay.
For Bounty Games specifically, I don't think we'll be taking it to the metaverse. It's just not as synergistic as for something like our Deadheads project, where we can actually like do premiere screenings in our gated underground crypt.
Yeah.
So I mean, probably not for Bounty Games, but for Deadheads, hell yeah.
Okay. Slade said in chat, come in the Sandstorm Discord for the whitelist spot giveaway after the show. So make sure you guys join the Sandstorm giveaway. And I guess the last question I really have that I forgot to ask is, so, obviously you're hoping for a 1 mil prize pool for the first games. What is going to fund the prize pool for, say, Bounty Games 2? Is it going to be based off of like secondary sales? Or like I said, if you do decide to do another mint, I guess that could be funding that. But if you don't do a mint, what's going to, I guess, add to season 2?
Yeah, so it all depends on the volumes on secondary. Like if we can fund it with secondary itself, beautiful. If we do need to do another mint and there's a big appetite for that, then we'll do another mint for it. So there's sort of 2 ways that we can add to that prize pool there, and it sort of depends how this first game plays out.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Yeah. I appreciate you guys coming on, especially with the circumstances. I mean, COVID. That, like I said, I would have been melted into the couch, not doing any interviews.
I actually am melting into the couch right now.
Yeah, Tempo's done a fantastic job explaining it, and like I think I speak on all of Janai. Like we're just super happy to be platforming it and like getting people into the play to earn space on what is really a good entry point, because you're able to like participate and earn big prize pools, and it's kind of it really is to that Mr. Beast style of like there's a lot to be won here for the people who want to participate, and hopefully that garners the right people into the community, because not that many projects really give back on that scale. They typically just sort of they might build like an installation in Sandbox or something like that, but they don't just go, hey, let's turn this back around, let's make this a game. Let the smartest, most dedicated come out on top.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. And yes, in chat, if we list an NFT, there's a chance it'll get burnt. If you list it at the floor, they're going to be burning 10 a day from the floor. So not, you could list it above the floor, but you never know. You could go to sleep and that floor could get to where you listed at, and it could get burnt. So be careful out there. Yeah, thank you guys very much for coming on. Like I said, good luck on the mint.
Thank you.
And good luck with the game. I will for sure be checking it out. Potentially minting.
Thank you everyone who listened in too. That's awesome. What a cool opportunity. What an amazing thing you're doing over here. The Sandbox is so awesome. And I think like the development of education and all the things you guys are doing over here are absolutely incredible. So it's just our pleasure. It's our pleasure to be on here and talk to you. So thanks so much, guys.
Yep. Make sure you guys follow Bounty Games on Twitter, join their Discord, and check out the mint tomorrow.
Farewell.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yep.